Managing technology-infused classrooms. Set clear and consistent goals. Students must know what they are allowed to do on their devices. Rules posted on the classroom walls. It is helpful to have clear instructions that you view, model, and have accessible throughout the year. Arrange your classroom in a way that allows easy movement. This allows you to monitor your students and ensure students are staying on task. Educators should be proactive and teach students how to be professional. Learn about new technologies. Stay up to date. You must constantly seek updated knowledge about new technologies. If there's not a technology specialist available at your school, you can always seek guidance and professional development through other resources. There is always someone that knows more than you. There's internet resources such as YouTube and bloggers. The resources are endless. Have you ever heard the saying, less is more? Start easy, slow, and build on that. Don't get in over your head and let technology frustrate you, then lose sight what is actually being taught. Let technology enhance the lesson, not the lesson enhances the technology. When planning lessons, it's very important to consider technology management. The main goal for integrating technology is to make sure our students are actively participating in the learning process. Once you have designed a lesson, then decide what role the technology will play within the lesson. Using technology shouldn't mean doing the same boring worksheets on the computer instead of paper. Be mindful of all the opportunities that technology offers, including engaging videos, music, programs, and online communications like blogging, to help your students relate to the content materials. Technology should always support and reinforce learning. As we all know, technology may not always cooperate. As I catch myself saying sometimes, computers have a mind of their own. Therefore, have a backup plan, possibly an analog version, just in case, to keep everything flowing smoothly. What are the best practices for managing BYOD classrooms? Let's get some further insight on a few of these best practices.
Hi, my name is Laura Wheeler and I teach at Ridgemont High School in the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm here to deliver a 2-minute PD on BYOD, Bring Your Own Device policies in the classroom, and how teachers can adapt their classroom management strategies to the BYOD classroom. One of the issues that I hear teachers speak to is the idea that not all of their students have a device that they can bring to class. This is absolutely true. There are a couple of workarounds that I found that help a lot. One is to have your students share their devices. So if you have 2 or 3 students working together, they only really need one device for their group in order to look up the material that they need. Another option is that many schools have some devices, some tablets or some Chromebooks in their school that they can loan out to students that don't have their own device or that need a different device for the task at hand. One of the tips that I would advise is that you collect a student card with the student's name or a post-it note with the student's name, and that if ever the device is not returned at the end of the class period, that you now know who was responsible for that device. Also, I've heard teachers are concerned over the students being on their devices all the time. What I found is that you can really set the parameters for when it is and is not appropriate in your own classroom. So you can let the students know that unless you have explicitly given permission for them to be on their devices, that the expectation is that they are not on their devices at all. Otherwise, many classrooms run on an as-needed basis. So if you need to use your device, you are welcome to pull it out. Some teachers will ask that the students ask for their permission each time they would like to look something up. But the idea being that it's not a free-for-all, that it really is up to the teacher to let their students know when it is and is not appropriate to be working with their device. Another problem is that the teachers think the students are on their phone while they're trying to teach, and that does occur. I've seen that in my own classroom. A strategy that I've found that works really well when you're trying to do some direct instruction is to ask for screens down. So if a student has a phone or a tablet, you can ask them to put the screen upside down on the table, and that way the device is not distracting them with the messages that are popping up. Any laptop can be closed less than a 45-degree angle, and again, the distractions there are not limited, and I'm able as a student to pay attention to my teacher's instruction. The other thing I ask my students when I'm teaching is to have their earphones out, and many of them will tell me, oh, but miss, they're not on. And I say that's not enough. Having the earphone in your ears is rude and disrespectful, and I don't know if you're playing music or not. So my instructions are always screens down and earphones out, and that means fully out of their ears. And I find that to be really effective with my students. As well, teachers are concerned that they can't see what a student is doing on their device. And I think the biggest thing there is to have your students using their device openly here on the desk, as opposed to underneath. I find this really hard to tell what my students are doing, so I always ask them to work on their desk. And if they are working on classwork, they should be very happy to have their tablet or phone out where you can see it. As well, you would want to, just like you would without a BYOD policy, be walking around the room constantly, and that allows you to really see what each student is up to. And you'll find that your physical presence around the room really helps the students to stay on track on their devices. Another issue that some teachers find is that the students don't interact with each other when they have their phone, playing music in their ears. One of the rules in my classroom is when we are doing group work, which is quite often in my class, I ask the students not to have their earphones in. So the only time that it would be appropriate for a student to have their earphones is if they're working individually at their desk. Anytime they're working on group work, or I'm direct teaching, I'm at the front of the room teaching a bit of a lesson, the students do need to have their earphones out and have their full attention to either their group or myself. And then at the end of the period, the best way to wrap up is to give your students a 5-minute warning, especially if they've borrowed devices from you. So saying that you have 5 minutes left to clear your cookies, log off, shut down the computer, and return any devices that have been loaned out. I hope that with some of these tips and advice, you find it easier to incorporate a BYOD policy into your classroom. It can be really powerful, and we hope to follow up with some more videos with explicit instruction on how we use the student devices in the classroom. Thank you so much.